You've clicked on this video because you feel a little bit effing crazy. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why you're experiencing these massive mood swings from panic and anxiety to anger and frustration to panic and anxiety to anger and frustration to guilty and lonely and depressed, back and forth, and why you eventually distract yourself, be it through doom scrolling or through food or alcohol or cheating or like on your spouse or flirting or the gym or hobbies or maybe your work, but you distract yourself in something just to get away, Netflix, just to get away from all the chaos going on in your life and in how you're feeling. So, my name is Tyler, if you're not familiar with me, and my entire YouTube channel and Instagram, which I'm live streaming on right now, is dedicated to showing you that you are not broken. Period. End of story. You're not broken. I don't care if you have been diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar, anger issues, PTSD, CPTSD, OCD, um, split personalities. You're not broken. Every one of the things I just mentioned is an adaptive behavior. What do I mean by that? Let's define that real quick. You go through something very painful and or uncomfortable, and your nervous system, built to help you survive, asks basically one question when that happens. How can I avoid this pain next time? That's it. It went, you got punched in the head, and your brain goes, that hurt a lot. How can I avoid that? I don't want that to happen again. How can I avoid that? And it comes up with a belief, or it comes up with some kind of strategy that allows you to anticipate it ahead of time, and hopefully it makes the right connection. Hopefully you make the right connection in your mind about what to anticipate or how to tell if you should anticipate it. Because otherwise you fucking anticipate panicking all the time and it never happens, but you create it. So, all the things are adaptive. Your brain goes, how can I prevent this next time? And it goes, oh, when you hear this sound, that's when you have to freak out so you can either fight or flight. When you see this person's face, that means you're in danger, therefore you got to go into fight or flight. When you see a certain thing, when you smell a certain thing, when you're in a certain situation, that's how you know that you're in danger, so you go into fight or flight. That's all it is. That's all your brain is doing. So all of these patterns I just mentioned are adaptive strategies. What I mean by that is a strategy to allow you to adapt to the situation so that you can hopefully anticipate the pain ahead of time next time so that you can avoid it quicker, aka keep you safe. Now, it doesn't take going to a therapist for 10 years to not only figure that out, but then more importantly, to figure out how to overcome this and heal, aka unlearn these adaptive patterns for good and find a better way to protect yourself long term. It doesn't take 10 years. In fact, think about this. If you and I were never afraid of the water, but then one day we fall into the ocean and we come this close to drowning, and in that moment, your brain links up to be terrified of the water. So now you can't drink water, now you can't swim, you can't watch movies with water because your nervous system freaks out. Your brain learned to be afraid in one moment. It takes one moment to unlearn that fear. That's it. Your brain learns and it unlearns. Now, we just talked about how your brain will go through a painful experience and it will come up with an adaptive strategy to avoid that pain next time. That water example is the perfect example. What happens is you have the painful experience of almost drowning, and your brain learned, I got the perfect strategy to avoid this pain next time. Anytime I see water, think about water, hear about water, freak out. That way you don't go anywhere near it and you can avoid the pain. It's a perfect strategy. Until it's not. Until now you can't go swimming with your friends or your kids, or drink water or fucking shower. Then it becomes a problem. But that's what all of these patterns are. So if you're feeling crazy, having these emotional swings, this is going to explain not only exactly what you're feeling, but how to get out of it more importantly. So here's what we're going to talk about. This is going to be an in-depth video. So strap yourself in, but I'm going to make it entertaining and as practical and relatable to you as humanly possible. So here's what happens. I'm going to get out my trusty whiteboard and explain this. Do. Whiteboard, share, new whiteboard. All right. So here's how this works. Okay. You and I, we either have an experience or we don't, but usually this is how it starts. We have an experience, painful experience. As a result of that, we want to avoid pain next time. But because of this, because we're always anticipating something bad is going to happen, what happens is we feel, so I'm trying to like talk and type at the same time. As a result of this, what we begin to feel is out of control. And here is what happens next. Trying to make this bigger. Oops, wrong direction. Okay, so we're feeling out of control, all right? And here's what happens. You're going to be able to resonate with this pattern almost immediately when I draw it. I'm sure of it. What happens is you will go into what I call a crazy eight. Okay? For anyone watching on Instagram, imagine just a literal, like an infinity sign, a figure eight. Okay? Here's what happens. You're feeling out of control. And so maybe you start with feeling a sense of panic, right? A sense of panic or anxiety, maybe even a sense of sadness or loneliness. And what happens as a result of that is after a while, you begin to get tired of feeling panic and anxious and sad and lonely, right? Eventually in your body, it starts to feel really weak. It starts to feel really just like, oh, right? So after a while, your nervous system cannot hang on to that. I'll explain why in a bit. It can't hang on to that like, oh, kind of gross, depressed, anxious, worried feeling. It just can't hang on to it. Instagram, tell me if you can relate to this as I explain it. What happens is you snap and you come out of the crazy eight and you go to the other direction. You get angry, frustrated, annoyed, you go into rage maybe. But what happens is you go to the other direction, right? So you're feeling panic or sadness or upset or depressed. And eventually, after a while, you can't hang on to that. You just fucking bullshit and you just get angry, right? So you snap and go to the other side. You're angry, right? And you hang on to that for a while and it feels good. I'll explain why in a minute. It feels good for a moment to feel angry and just, ugh. After a while, though, this feels like just that pressure intensity in your body just feels too much. And you ran out of juice and energy and steam, and so you just, I don't know why I thought this would ever work, and it's stupid and bullshit. It's unfair, and I'll never do it. It's never gonna work. And we get depressed and anxious, scared, sad, lonely again. We don't know what to do. And after a little while of that, it just feels weak and it's just like, fuck this bullshit. Ow, I hit my finger on the table. This bullshit. We get angry and annoyed and all this again. And we go back and forth and back and forth. Angry, depressed, sad, lonely, anxious. Angry and frustrated, depressed, sad, lonely, anxious. Down, up, down, up, down. And it's exhausting, right? So here's why we do this. I told you this would be a bit of an in-depth video, but it's very important to understand. Why can't I change the color of the writing? Here's what happens. I want you to think about how both of these sides make us feel. Let's actually start on the other side. Why don't we? So, when we're feeling angry, I want you to notice there's a sense of certainty that we have. We're feeling out of control of our life. We can't figure it out. We don't know what to do about our health, about the business, about our relationship, about the world, state of the world, about our kids. We don't know what to do. So when we're angry, there's a sense of certainty that I'll figure it out. It's bullshit. It's unfair. I will figure it the fuck out. Don't fuck with me, right? It's kind of like the vibe that you feel when you have that amount of tension in your body. We're pissed off. I'm certain that you're going to respond to me because I'm fucking angry, right? So there's a feeling of just certainty in our body, right? What else do we feel when we're angry? We also have a sense of feeling, how do you spell that? Significant. We also have a sense of feeling significant. When we're feeling really out of control of our life and our circumstances, we feel really insignificant. We feel unimportant. We feel like kind of like we're not enough. We feel like we're not deserving of love. We're just not enough in general. It feels weak in the body. It feels sad in the body. But when you're angry, you feel like you're significant again. You feel important for a moment. It might not feel like good, but there's a sense of just, I feel fucking important. Don't screw with me, right? There's just a sense of importance. Instagram, you know what I'm talking about? Drop the word significant or drop the word yes if all this is making sense to you so far, right? There's just a sense of like, you, I am important. I am enough. I'm going to make this happen. All of you, or something like that. But there's a sense of feeling strong, powerful, and significant in that. What else does it do? It gives you a sense of connection. If I'm pissed off and I'm mobilizing around my day as I'm pissed off, I know that I'm going to be connected with some people because I'm going to have their full attention. Am I right or wrong? If I'm angry a bit like this, maybe I don't have their full attention. But if I'm like demonstrating anger and I'm kind of talking angry and I'm pissed off, of course people are going to like connect with me, like talk to me, especially people who love and care about me. So I'll be connected with them at least a little bit. So we have connection there. Now, what else do we feel? I want you to notice this. We have a sense of variety because anger and frustration, feeling annoyed, feeling raged is a different emotional state. It's a different feeling in the mind and body than panic, anxiety, sadness, and loneliness. So when we're angry like this, it gives us a sense of variety and different feelings than those feelings, right? So it means 4 out of the 6 human needs that all of us have. And I will give you a secret. Anytime a feeling, a belief, a behavior, a person meets at least 3 of these 6 human needs, we will immediately become addicted. Immediately we'll be addicted to that. That person, that behavior, that emotion, that belief. People say all the time, kids should, not, get into violence or gangs or bully. Okay, but when they're bullying, kids feel a sense of significance. I'm better than you. I'm bigger. I'm better. I'm more powerful. I'm more strong, whatever, right? I'm bigger than you. They feel a sense of certainty that they're better than the other kids. They feel a sense of connection with the other bullies or with the people that were bullying, right? They're probably feeling really insignificant inside. So when they get angry and they bully people, they bully kids, it's a different feeling. So they're meeting 4 of their needs. Think about how addicting that is, especially for a kid who feels out of control, right? So I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just saying I want us to understand what is going on, what is really going on. Not like a therapist, oh, it's like you have XYZ disorder. No, you don't. You're feeling very out of control. And as a result of that, these are the emotional patterns that happens. It doesn't matter if you're 10 years old, doesn't matter if you're 100 years old, or anywhere in between. This is the pattern that you'll experience. So, moving on, people say, kids shouldn't be violent or bully or whatever. Well, they're gonna. until they find a new way to meet their needs, which I show parents how to help their kids do all the time. Another thing is like people say you shouldn't cheat on your spouse. I agree with that. However, someone has a sense of like certainty that their partner loves them, but they don't have a sense of feeling like significant and prioritized and like they're important to their spouse. And they don't feel a sense of variety, like excitement and stimulation and the passion anymore. These needs still have to be met. So they might find it in someone else, right? They feel important to that person. They feel a sense of excitement that they haven't felt in 10 years with that person. So now they're meeting two needs with their spouse, two needs with this other person. I don't agree with it at all, but it makes sense. And the funniest part about this, not funny, but the most interesting part about this is we see this in movies all the time. We see this in films all the time, TV shows, movies like that. We see this all the time. We're like, we see the person who's like the man who's like going to work or the woman who's spending so much time doing this other thing. And we see, because of the way that the movie frames it, we see that the other person is trying to connect with their partner, but they keep feeling neglected and neglected and neglected and neglected. And then one day they're in a bookstore or whatever the hell they're doing, right? And they run into this person and they have a really good conversation with them. And they're like, wow, I feel this excitement and I feel important again, like I haven't in years. And we see it. It's so obvious. But then in real life, we're like, no, this is life. This is life. I'm not saying cheating. I'm saying the emotional patterns and these needs. This is life. I'm holding up a mirror to every one of you who are watching right now. That's probably why you can resonate. It's probably why there's a bunch of you who have not left Instagram yet. I'm sure why you're still watching this YouTube video. So my point is, going back to this crazy eight I'm explaining here, when we're angry, we're feeling a sense of certainty that we're important again and strong and powerful for the moment. I feel a sense of connection with those who I may be being angry at, or if we're online putting like little hate comments like people do on my shit all the time. It's funny. They get to feel this sense of like just importance. They get to feel connected to people who have the same hate agreement, right? It's just they get to meet their needs when they're angry. Now let's think about this for a moment. I did say that eventually we feel exhausted and we come to the other side, right? Eventually we will get burnt out of anger, burnt out of frustration, burnt out of that like you feeling, and we eventually come here. And the reason being is because we need variety. The nervous system needs variety. Because the nervous system needs variety, it is physiologically fucking impossible, neurologically impossible to stay in one emotion. People say, I'm always anxious. No, you're not. You're also angry and all the things we just mentioned. So your body's going to get tired and go down here and feel anxious, pain, lonely, sad, depressed, all those things. And think about it. When you're there, you're meeting the exact same needs. Switch the color to this. Give me a second. What the heck? Delete. Hold on. The scheduled program will be back in a second. Okay, there we go. So think of the need for certainty that we're talking about here as the need to avoid pain and ideally have some sort of comfort. Think of it that way. It's the most simple way to look at it. Certainty is the ability to avoid pain. When we're feeling really out of control and we feel super like anxious or sad or depressed or lonely, what do? We either reach out to connect with loved ones out of comfort, or we want to avoid loved ones and people altogether, and we just, kind of like bury ourselves into our own stuff, whether we go to our bedroom or watch TV or go for a drive or just like chill on the couch. But we tend to either close off and just have it be ourselves, or we reach out to people. Either way, we're doing it to try to have a sense of comfort. So these feelings bring us a sense of comfort. Okay? The next thing it does is it gives us a sense of feeling significant. We don't feel important because we can't figure anything out. We're feeling so out of control. We don't feel important to anyone else. We don't feel like we're enough to anyone else or to the world. We feel completely worthless and unlovable. So what happens is when we are feeling anxious and sad and down, depressed, guilty like this, shame, I should have put that on there, shame, guilty, just that lower energy emotion. What happens? We are making ourselves important again. If you're the person who kind of closes off and does your own thing and like kind of goes into yourself and doesn't want anyone to see you, you're making yourself be important for the moment. The world doesn't make me feel important. I am important though. It's kind of what we're doing. We're connecting with ourselves. We're making ourselves feel important for the moment. Or if you're the person who reaches out for help, right, reaches out for comfort, usually people will try to comfort us. But they also try to give us compliments like, Tyler, no, you're handsome, you're beautiful, you're gonna do great. Things are gonna work out. They're trying to make you feel important again. So we feel a sense of certainty and comfort. We feel a sense of importance, regardless as if it's other people giving it to us or if it's us giving it to us because we're not feeling very important. We also feel a sense of connection. Like I said, if you kind of close yourself off from the world, you're connecting with yourself. If you are the person who reaches out for help, for comfort, you're connecting with them. So the panic, anxiety, sadness, loneliness, shame, guilt, depression, that connects you, right? What else does it do? It gives you a sense of variety from the other side. So one side is the strong emotions like anger, rage, frustration, annoyance. And then the other one is like that panicky, sad, anxious, lonely, guilty, depressed, kind of shameful feeling. And we're meeting the exact same needs. So we're feeling out of control of our life. We get angry, annoyed, frustrated, enraged, and that side meets some of our needs for a short time. Then we get tired of that and we go to the other side, right? That panic, anxiety, sadness, loneliness, shame, guilt, depression, and we meet all the exact same needs as anger did. And then we get tired of feeling weak, and so we just snap and get angry again and meet the needs again and go back and forth and back and forth. Most people spend their entire lives in and out of this pattern. You'll notice that you experience this. The most common one that is global, regardless if someone is reaching out for mental health help or personal development or therapy or coaching, doesn't matter if they've not touched like this world at all of therapy or help. Everybody has at least experienced this when they feel uncertain in their relationship. That is the most common one globally. We feel like we're not enough in our relationship. What do? We feel angry, we feel depressed, we feel anxious. We feel angry, we feel depressed, we feel anxious. Angry, depressed, anxious, angry, depressed, anxious. And what do eventually we do? I didn't explain this part yet. When we are tired of feeling this chaos of emotions, Instagram, tell me in the comments, what do you do when you get tired of all this? What do you do to distract yourself? And I will tell you, YouTube, what you do down here. So turn your attention to the screen. The way that you'll get out of this is by distracting. You might distract with, oh, and bring the size of this down a little bit. You might distract with doom scrolling, Netflix, food, gym, work, your kids, hobbies, porn, cheating, um, uh, can't think of what, yeah, can't think of what else at the moment. But the point is, you do something to distract yourself. And that's all right. Because you guys, I'm sure that you get the point. You probably see the one that you're using in here. So the point is, you're not a bad person if you're doom scrolling or watching Netflix or gym or work or the kids or hobbies or watching porn or cheating on your spouse. You're not a bad person. You are somebody who is fucking desperate or, yeah, spending money on unnecessary things. Yeah, yeah, totally. Let me actually add that one real quick because that's true. That's common. Spending money Like shopping, right? That's totally, yep, that's a great one. So you're not a bad person and you don't even have crappy morals if you're doing any of this. I don't care if you're the one who's like, "Oh fuck, I'm the one who's cheating." That's fine. Whatever. The point of the matter, it's not fine. My point is I don't have any judgment. What you're desperately attempting to do, trying to do, is get out of the chaos going on in your mind and body. You are desperately trying to feel okay. You're trying to feel like you're enough. You're trying to feel some sense of control and comfort in your life again. And here's the thing that every one of us watching this needs to understand. Every human being will violate their highest values in order to meet their needs. We will violate our highest values in order to meet our needs. So this is the pattern. Now you might be like, okay, but Tyler, I am dissociating. I am feeling, depersonalization, derealization. I am feeling um, tingling hands and sweaty palms and heart palpitations and sensations. Yes, first of all, I just did a whole video on this yesterday. So if you check my YouTube channel and you look up health anxiety, you're gonna just watch that one. Um, but that is an adapted behavior. That's a learned response. It is a symptom of this. All of those things are a symptom of this. You feel out of control back and forth between these crazy emotions, and then not to mention you're distracting yourself, so your nervous system is just firing off all of the chemicals, all of the things, and adapting in the weirdest ways. Once you're out of this, all of those things go away in a heartbeat. This is the whole pattern. Now, some people ask me, like, Tyler, why do you charge so much for your services? Because you're never going to have to go to therapy again. This is life transformation, not just like, a couple sessions in therapy. The most common thing I have people ask me, which I didn't expect, is how many sessions do I get with you? And I say, I don't know. No idea. Because you don't pay for sessions or the amount of time you spend with me. You're paying for the result or your money back. That's what you're paying for. By the way, this isn't a sales video. I want to get back to this. So this is what you're experiencing. You're experiencing your nervous system doing its fucking damnedest to just feel back in control, to have some stability in your body. And the problem is when we actually are going to get out of this, the way that we need to do it is to exit this crazy eight going up. And there's only two ways to do that. Let's see if I can move this. Hold on. The only way to get out is to do one of two things. Change the internal world or change the external world. Now that sounds super basic and super easy and all that, right? Probably too easy to be true. I want you to think about this. What I mean by changing the internal world is you change the way that your nervous system is expecting that life should go. When you expect life to be like this, and it's like this, that's when you go into these patterns. You feel out of control. That's literally how this entire thing starts. You expect that life should be like this, and it's actually like this. You expect that you should be this way, but you're actually being this way. So now you feel out of control. You believe your kids should be this way, and they're being this way instead. Out of control. You believe your spouse should be this way, but they're being this way. You feel out of control. You believe that the world should be this way, but it's this way. It just keeps going. You believe that something should be this way, but it's being this way. And you feel like you can't make it match your expectations. You feel out of control to make your world match your expectations. So the first thing is you can either change your perception and expectation of how you believe things should be, and I usually do both with my clients, and or you have to find the strategies to actually change your external world. Find the strategies to improve your relationship. Get the courage to leave your relationship. Right? Find the strategies to influence your kids. Figure out how to make your health better. Find a way to get more finances. change your career. Like change what's going on externally. There is the external world and there is the internal world. When you change one, right? When you change one or you change a little bit of both, this whole thing stops. Because if this is your expectation of life and this is how life is, you either bring this all the way to match here, or you bring this all the way to match here, or you can meet them in the middle. In my opinion, this is always the easiest one to do because it's going to be really hard to just drop all of your expectations about how life should be to match reality. It's a little challenging. I mean, it's possible, but it's just harder because you have to go so much further, right? The more out of control you are, the more out of control you're feeling, the more you have to change your expectations. Or you have to try to fucking control the world around you, which, by the way, is probably 90% of the reason why you're feeling this right now. Because you're feeling so out of control because you believe that life should be a certain way. So you're trying to control and change life around you or the people around you. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So what I like to do is you change your expectations to come halfway, and you learn the skills and strategies to influence the world around you to meet the other half. Now you're feeling in control. You're feeling more stable. Now, don't think of control as like manipulation. I don't mean like that. I just mean like you internally are like, ah, you feel in control of yourself. You feel stable. You feel a sense of peace again. So you can take a screenshot of this or whatever. But I'm going to stop sharing this now. So that is why you're feeling crazy, for lack of better terms. All of the symptoms, all of the emotions, all the craziness, all of the addictions is just because there's something big in your life you're feeling out of control of. And unfortunately, most people, I hope not you, but unfortunately, most people are so busy focused on the symptoms of the emotions, not even the emotions themselves, or even what's causing it. They're so far off track of what to focus on, and I'm hoping that this video gives you an idea. I'm really wanting this video to be a good starting point where you can say, oh, the symptoms and bodily sensations and all that I'm feeling, that's not even close to the problem. That is a symptom of how I'm feeling emotionally. So that's the problem. And I'm feeling that way because I have all these beliefs and perceptions about how life should be, and I can't control changing the external world. So I have to change this and the external a little bit, and all of it will resolve itself, and you will feel a sense of peace again. That's what you got to do. Now, you might be like, fuck, that makes it sound a lot easier, but where do I start? If you want to know, well, first of all, that's where you start. But if you want to know like more step-by-step how to do this, you can directly message me at tyler.charlebois. I will put the tag to my Instagram in the description below this training so you can get access to me on Instagram because that's where I actually speak with people directly. But if this has been helpful, I love it. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to my channel. There's no editing going on here, just me off the cuff. And then message me on Instagram. I'd be happy to see if I can help you.